Tomashevsky played d4. Carlsen replied with g6. This is round 3 of the World Rapid Championship. White plays e4. Carlsen plays d6. Tomashevsky brings his knight out, bishop g7. We will go fast through the opening because the opening is pretty normal. White gains the center, but black challenges it later. White brings all the pieces into the game. Black has played the modern defense, so he goes for g5, bishop g3, knight g6, h3, castles, knight h2 heading to g4, king h7, knight f1, and knight f6, queen e2, queen d7, e5, takes, and queen c6. There is a mate threat on g2, so Tomashevsky plays knight e3 and knight d7. And this is where the game actually starts. Till now, it was all standard opening moves where white brought the pieces out into the game, and black also has active pieces. Here, Tomashevsky plays a very nice move. Bishop to b5. The idea is the queen is forced to stay away from the knight, which is going to be hanging on d7. After pawn takes by Carlsen, Tomashevsky took back, queen moves, and rook takes. So white has the advantage, black takes back the pawn. Material is equal, but white's rook is active over here on the 7th rank, and the other rook will also jump in. Queen c4. Tomashevsky wants to exchange queens because he has a solid advantage with this rook. Bishop c8. And here takes, and white plays a very nice move again. His rook is hanging, but Tomashevsky plays an exchange sacrifice. Bishop takes bishop, giving up the rook. So white is an exchange down, but the point is his passed pawn is very strong. And coupled with his two knights that can jump around, the position looks very good for white here. Knight f4, a big mistake by Carlsen because now rook can jump in and position becomes good. For example, rook d1, bishop c8, b6, bishop blocks it, and just b3, getting ready to jump with the knight. And then the other knight can also jump in with knight e4. So that was possible, but then instead of rook d1, Tomashevsky played knight c4. Knight d5 and knight takes, pawn takes, knight b6. Rook e8. Carlsen forces an exchange of rooks, almost takes, and bishop d6. Rook g8, knight into d5. White gets a pawn, but rook g6 comes. Bishop takes and bishop takes. So Carlsen takes extreme measures to make the position manageable. Now he has to just deal with two pass pawns of white, but they're so far away from becoming dangerous, and the rook is able to do it. Pawn c3, getting ready to push b4, rook a6, and pawn b4. Pawn f5, knight c7, rook check, king moves, and bishop c4. Here white played knight e8, not pushing the pawn, because if he had pushed this pawn, then the pawn would be difficult to defend at all times. This setup is very solid. The bishop can just come here and everything is defended. The knight is free to move. So he goes knight e8, king g6, and knight d6. Attacking the bishop, bishop moves, bishop d4, and rook b1. Bishop e5, f4. Bishop d4, h5, bishop d4, e5. So Tomashevsky is just waiting. He has given away any hope of winning this game. He is just hoping to keep this setup intact. But then Carlsen finds a very nice plan. He plays king g1, does white. Here Carlsen plays rook e2, bishop d4, and g4. Black's play is happening on the king side. White's pawns are stuck. Pieces are also not doing much. White is just waiting. But Carlsen gets his pawns pushed forward. And now what's the point? Takes, king h2. Can you find out the next move by black that Carlsen played? The world champion played g3. After takes, his idea was f3. And the black pawn has passed through. Because pawn g4 was played to make space for the king, but then just rook takes g2, king h3, and then another nice move, pawn f2. Here, Tomashevsky resigned because if king takes, then black just promotes. And if bishop takes, you're simply losing the game because you're a rook down. So Carlsen created play in the king side and took the point home.